All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am live here tonight on a Saturday night in Baltimore, Maryland, and I've got a special surprise for you guys. I thought it would be fun because of Sarah Marr's recent fame on the social media presence to go ahead and get her on a live interview so that we could find out a couple of things that are just pressing on my mind and your mind. And I'm going to leave it open to the viewers to ask questions. So if you are watching this and you would like to ask some questions to Sarah, please feel free to do that. I've got a couple questions in the pipeline that I want to ask. And before I bring her on, I would just like to say that Sarah is an amazing pickleball player. She's even a better ping pong player, in my opinion. No, I'm just kidding. She's better at pickleball, but she did kick my butt in some ping pong if you've been keeping up with videos lately. But I thought it would be fun on a Saturday night, since we have nothing else to do tonight, to just do an interview with Sarah Marr uh, from the Golden Boy. And I don't know what I'm going to ask. I don't know what she's going to answer. And we're just going to roll with it tonight. And if you're watching, it probably means that you don't have a whole lot going on tonight. And that's okay. That's all right. So I'm going to bring Sarah on here and we're going to start rolling here. If you could, please share, like, and comment on this video because we want people to get to know Sarah because she's a fantastic person. She does happen to be my girlfriend. But that's besides the point. So let's just bring her on live now. What is up, Sarah Marr?
Hi, Scott Golden.
So my first question to you is, how do you say your last name? Because I've been at some tournaments with you, and I feel like the tournament directors and the people announcing your name, they always get it incorrect. And just go ahead and spell it out for everybody and then give the correct pronunciation.
All right, so it's spelled Maher, and it's Irish. So a lot of people think it's pronounced Mayor, but it's Mar, like the planet Mars. I just tell my students it's Mars without the S, and they tend to get that.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people, if they just hear you say it once, they can get it. But if you've never heard that before, I think it is very confusing. Would you agree that Maher is just a slight bit confusing?
It is, and Maher was my nickname in high school, and that I like better than Mayor because it should be Mayer, but Maher makes more sense.
Absolutely, it does. Mar is the way you pronounce that. So that's right off the bat. But also, I see that your nickname on this interview is the Beast. Could you just explain that for a second?
I mean, Scott Golden, you've seen me play, so I'm the beast from the East.
The Beast from the East. I like it. Sarah
That's
Moore,
right.
the Beast from the East. Okay, so right out of the gate, like I do with all my people that I interview, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you these questions. Right out of the gate, I would like to know, and I'm gonna pop it up on the screen. How did Sarah Moore find pickleball, and how long have you been playing? But really, what I like to say ultimately is, how did pickleball find you? Go.
Ooh. So pickleball found me about 5 years ago when I visited my parents out west. They are retired, living the awesome life. And I went out to visit them during one of my breaks from school. And we usually play tennis and do all of the other active things that they have in their community. And one time they said, let's play pickleball. And I said, pickleball? What is that? I had never heard of it. So I had heard and played the last 5 years. But it was only when I would go out there to visit them once a year that I'd play. And the hardest part was to remember the scoring because I had the striking skills from playing tennis and ping pong and badminton, but it was the scoring and the kind of weird rules that pickleball had. But I've been playing officially for about 2.5 years. I started playing in a Baltimore league in about, I think it was the fall of 2018. And then I did my first tournament in December of 2018, and I was addicted ever since then.
All right, beautiful, beautiful. All right, so I would like to also know what you are drinking there. It looks like you had a drink in your hand.
I did. I am drinking some whiskey, some Evan Williams.
Could you tell everybody why that you drink whiskey so much? I would just like to know why that is. That seems to be your drink of choice and mine as of late.
Yeah, you have no choice. No, you do. Um, so I'm on the keto diet, or I have been since about November, and whiskey has 0 carbs and 0 sugar. So I can drink vodka if I chose to, but whiskey is a drink that I really hadn't drank before. And so I figured let's just try this instead of vodka. And I like whiskey a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really drink any whiskey before I met you, Sarah, but now it seems like I drink whiskey almost every night. It takes the edge off, actually. It does. Whiskey takes the edge off, so that's good. That's
Yeah,
good.
gives you some
So
hair on your chest.
it does indeed. It gives you some hair on your chest, and I need some more hair on my chest.
I
Uh,
don't.
you definitely do not. It says, okay, so Tapper, my buddy, said that's why she drinks you under the table. She's Irish. Okay, clearly that is the answer to the question. She's Irish, and that's why she can
Yep.
drink you under the table.
That's why I get the
Uh,
red cheeks.
that's right. Jason Walker said, what you drinking there, SG? Well, I'm also drinking whiskey and ginger ale. So, yeah, there we go. And Tapper said, Jason, water with food coloring. Okay, that's dirty. That's dirty. Can't believe he did that. All right, so Tapper's here just to troll me, just so you know, Sarah. All right, Michael Cheung. Do you know Michael? Okay, so Michael says, have you guys played in a tournament together? Sarah, take it away.
Yes, we played in our first one this past January, and I flew down to Bonita Springs, Florida, and we played in the Peak Performance Academy tournament that is put on by Simone. And we played in the pro event for mixed doubles, and we went 1-2.
Actually, for the record, we went 2-2 because we had a default win over somebody that forfeited.
That's true. I forgot about that.
I think a 500 record is much better than a losing
For
record.
pros, that's really good.
That's right. All right, next question from Scott Yager. He says, Sarah, what is the secret to your patience in dealing with your boyfriend, the golden boy? Is it meditation, alcohol, or newly legalized drugs? Go ahead, Sarah. Answer that question.
This is a great question, Scott. I'm a teacher, so I'm very patient, and I teach elementary school phys ed. So it's definitely that's helpful. And I do meditate. I've been doing yoga more so now, but before Scott got here, I did that. And then definitely alcohol. Alcohol just definitely makes you not care about things, though. I'm very laid back, and Scott is great, so he doesn't bother me.
I try not to bother Sarah because she would probably throat punch me if I bothered her too much. No, Sarah's great. I will say that when I met Sarah, it was about a year and a half ago at the Nashville tournament. Actually, Don Stanley's tournament, which we decided was the tournament that we met at. I couldn't remember if it was Don's or Nashville Pickleball, but either way, it was either Don Stanley or Stephen Gritch. And his crew that was running it. But either way, we met about a year and a half ago, right? And you were in a long-time relationship. And then not that I tried to influence anything, but I did ask you at that time, right, if you were single, right? And you quickly let me know that you were not, and did not even give me the time of day. I remember that. And so then we went about our business. But how did we end up coming back together? Do you remember that story, how we ended up meeting back up?
Yeah, I mean, ever since then, I think we were friends, and we talk to each other on on Facebook Messenger and stuff, and so as months went by, like we were just catching up with each other. But in September, after I had broken up with my boyfriend, I reached out to you to see how you were doing in Florida, and then from there we just started talking.
Yeah, and talking is one thing I do really well. So I think that's how I was able to, get you. I don't know if was it my pickleball skills? I don't know. Was it? I mean, what was it that It had to be my pickleball skills. Clearly.
Oh, definitely, definitely that. But just you make people feel comfortable around you, and I obviously love laughing. And if you can make someone laugh, that's awesome.
Speaking of that, speaking of laughing a lot, we're in kind of a weird time right now with the quarantine, and I flew up here. Actually, matter of fact, March 18th is when I flew up to Baltimore from Florida. And guys, the only reason I would ever go to Baltimore is for this pretty girl right here on the screen, and that's Sarah. And I've been here for almost, I guess it's been about a month, coming up on a month, or right out a month, or I lost track of the days, but talk about the videos that we've done recently. If anybody hasn't seen it, you can go to Golden Boy Pickleball and look at these videos that we did. But talk about how much fun that was. I mean, I just want to hear your perspective.
Well, the first video we did was for the I Want to Dink with Somebody that Jigsaw Health put on. And that one was a lot of fun to just kind of act out and do. But then the other one that we just did was when you gave a tutorial about how to do, basic pickleball stuff, and I was your arms. And I don't think I've cried that hard in a long time. And just to rewatch a video that many times and think it's so funny. I hope it made other people laugh a little bit, even though every time I watch it, it's as if I'd seen it for the first time. And then the one that was posted yesterday was the one that I was giving a tutorial about how to not get the coronavirus, and you were my arms. And it's just nice to be around someone who wants to do silly things and isn't afraid to make a fool of ourselves and just laugh and enjoy it.
Oh, I'm definitely one to make a fool of myself, but also whiskey and ginger ale helps. That does help. Um,
It does.
also, do you remember why we did those videos? Like, what sparked that video segment?
Yes, I do. You showed me a video of this man who was eating a bunch of food, different types of food, and someone was behind him, probably his wife, was his arms, and we were kind of disgusted about the mess that it was making of how much, like, whatever the food that he was consuming, and we just thought, well, how could we make this different and more pickleball related and less gross and messy?
Yeah, because if there's one thing that you know about me, right, Sarah, it's that I'm very particular about food and very picky about food. So I was not going to do a video of you just like throwing food at my face and like multiple different things, like just disgusting. So that's where that sparked from exactly. And I think it was a good blend because we, like, in my first video, we did like basic tutorial stuff, but also added in a couple gummy bears, the fruit snacks, and then the Jigsaw Health products. So you kind of had a good blend of it. And then obviously your ways to prevent coronavirus. Tell everybody about that process. Like, did we do that like 15 times before we posted it, or how did that go down?
Well, for yours, we were completely sober, but for mine, we had drank a good amount before doing it. And I was just talking to you about my ideas, and then you said, let's just do it. And we did it in one take. I mean, I thought for sure I laughed a lot during it, but I held it together for the most part, which was helpful. But yeah, just one take for each. And we had some good bloopers before and after the take, but we didn't fix or edit anything that we originally did in the first take.
That's what I think makes it so special, is that we just rolled with the punches. I mean, we just went with it. And I mean, I personally, I love to laugh. I know you love to laugh, and I have never laughed that hard. I mean, my side was hurting, my eyes were watering. I mean, it was absurd how much we were just laughing at ourselves. And I know just from the responses on social media, the people that have watched it um, have thought it was hilarious. And trust me, if you were in this apartment the night that it was created, you would have laughed. You would have been on the floor in tears laughing, because I mean, none of that was put up. I mean, we did not fake any of that. Like, trying to get into that jersey. Oh, and while we're on this video thing, talk about why we chose that 92, the number 92 jersey for the Baltimore Ravens. Like, why did we choose that versus anything else?
Basically, it was the only thing big enough to fit two people inside of it, because we had other options we were going to do, but there was no way that we would fit in it. So the 92 Ravens jersey was massive, so it worked perfectly. And it was also nice because we didn't even know what we were going to say. I had no idea what you were going to say, and you didn't know what I was going to say during my tutorial. So it's just going off the cuff, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah, which I think that's what makes the best video, in my opinion, is just being able to do something on the fly. Like, even this interview, right? I mean, what were we doing? Like, talk about this. Like, how did you end up on an interview with me? Like, this is life with Scott Golden. Like, go and tell everybody what happened.
I had just earned bronze in a pickleball rules competition, and I was thinking I was going to relax for the rest of the night. And Scott and I are sitting on the couch, and he goes, "You know what I just thought about? That'd be an awesome idea." And I said, "What?" And he said, "Let me interview you." And I said, "Really?" So, and then here we are.
The great thing about Sarah is that it doesn't take a whole lot to convince her to do something. So I got her to, to do this live interview all of about 10 seconds. But honestly, that's because she trusts me. She knows that I've got her best interest at heart, and that I'm gonna do this in a way that's gonna be fun and exciting. And I mean, we have a good bit of people tuning in right now, and we've got quite a bit of questions. So like that's why I feel like you've risen to fame out of nowhere all of a sudden, with not your pickleball skills, because there's no pickleball going on right now, but your social media presence has really taken a big boost after dating me for about, I don't know, since January. So I'm just kidding. That's totally a lie. She's always been a rock star in everything she does. For the record, she beats my tail in ping pong. She beats my tail in karaoke. What else have you beat me in? Beer pong.
Connect Four, beer
Connect
pong.
Four. Like, I win in pickleball currently at the moment, but I feel like that's slipping away. Like, I feel like at any moment she's going to steal that from me as well.
That's the goal.
That's the goal. All right, going back to the comments and questions, Jason Walker, who, by the way, does not play pickleball, who's tuning in, who must be very bored tonight on a Saturday night. He said, "I'm a bourbon guy. My go-to is Wild Turkey 101." So, Sarah, what's your go-to?
Right now I like Rebel Yell. Thanks to Josh Saylor, he kind of put me in the right direction of what whiskey and bourbon to go for. But honestly, I've never had Wild Turkey, so I'll have to try that. There's a bunch of different ones that I haven't had. It's kind of overwhelming when you go to the liquor store and see all those options. So I'll put it on my list.
Do you want to give a shout out to our boy Terry Hartley, who recently introduced us to EW, which I'll let you explain?
Sure. So Terry had messaged us, or Scott, the other day saying, we need to try Evan Williams. So I went to the liquor store and got more Rebel Yell, of course, but then I picked up some Evan Williams, and Evan Williams is really nice. So if you haven't ever tried that, he's on the bottom shelf, which I've had teachers which don't ever get that type of, I think it's bourbon, but don't waste your time. I thought it was funny because it was named after teachers, but it wasn't very pleasant to the taste. But Evan Williams is really good, has a nice aftertaste.
And what was the follow-up whiskey that he told us about? It was some type of really sweet one. What was that? Do you remember?
It's with an S. I know it has peanut butter in it. I can't think of the name off the top of my head. Like Shrewd's.
Screwball.
Screwball. Okay. Yes.
Screwball whiskey. So very cool. Very cool. Absolutely. All right. Let's see. The next question is from Michael Cheung again. And Michael says, "Sarah, what paddle do you play with and why?" Go ahead.
I actually have my paddle right here from the rules challenge I just did. I am sponsored by Selkirk, and I play with the Selkirk Epic Amped, and it's the black color version. And I've only played with Selkirk paddles, and I'm lucky enough since August of 2019 to be sponsored by them, which that's a crazy story in itself, how that happened.
Well, go ahead and tell it. We've got nothing but time since we're all quarantined.
All right. So when I went to the Atlanta Open last May of 2019, I was playing with Jimbo Peterson in the mixed doubles, and I had booked a flight to return back to Baltimore from Georgia late Sunday night so that I can go to work on Monday. And because we started at 7 a.m., we were done earlier on Sunday. So Suzanne Powers and Brendan Wolf and we decided to change our flight. So we went to the Atlanta Open Airport, and I hadn't even changed. I was still in my sweaty pickleball stuff. So Atlanta Airport is pretty big if you've never been there, and there's plenty of security lines. And we were waiting in one of the lines, and people saw that I was wearing a pickleball shirt. And so right before we got our to the actual security part where you put your bags through the I don't even know what you call it, the x-ray machine, I don't know. This gentleman came up to me and he said, "Oh, you play pickleball?" And I said, "Yes, I just finished this tournament in Atlanta." And he said, "Well, my son-in-law owns a company." And at this point, all my stuff, my Selkirk bag, everything was through the scanner. And I said, "Oh, who's your son-in-law?" And he said, "Rob Barnes from Selkirk." And I immediately was like, oh, that's who I play with. I love Selkirk, everything, I love what they're about. And so I went through the actual, scanner for the body scan. And then when I got out, I grabbed all my stuff to show him. And he was already coming out with his phone. And he said, "Let me take a picture of you. I'll send it. You should totally be sponsored by them." And I was just blown away that out of all the lines, I happened to run into Rob Barnes' father-in-law. And so then I took it as a sign to reach out to Selkirk and say, "This is what I'd like to offer your company. I hope you'll sponsor me." And then they did.
That's awesome. I love stories of how people get sponsored because everybody's got their own unique path and journey through pickleball and how they create their own niche and everything. And so I personally am not sponsored with Selkirk. However, I think Selkirk is one of the most prominent companies in our sport. They're on the cutting edge, I think, of everything to do with marketing and just branding themselves. I think they've done, not only do they create, right, Sarah, they create a phenomenal paddle, but they've done a great job of capturing some of the top pros like Tyson McGuffin and some of those guys, like some of those players like that, and then branding their company as being the premier company in the sport. So even though I'm sponsored with Monarch, I still hold a lot of respect and a tremendous amount of just, respect for Selkirk and the family that owns that. Rob and the Barnes family, they honestly, I think they care more about the sport itself and the players than they care about the profit margins in their company. Not to say that they don't keep track of that, right? Because they're a company, they obviously want to make a profit, but I think that their heart is in the right place. And I think that's huge as far as going a long way in this sport. Don't you agree that Selkirk's probably been the leading company in marketing and branding?
I agree. And they're just a good family company that they have great customer service. So if you do own a paddle of theirs and something happens, they're quick to respond back to you and ship you a new one with no questions asked.
That's awesome. Okay, so we've got a lot of comments. I would like to say that people are really hammering the Golden Boy right now. I mean, I feel like I'm just being hammered here, but Scott Yager said it was your gracious losing at ping pong that was the clincher. I think he's referring to us dating and my ability to lose graciously. That was the clincher there. And my buddy from Alabama, Tapper Wood, said Sarah's back was probably hurting from carrying you, and I think he's referring to when we played. Thank you, Tapper, for that. Huge amount of confidence in the Golden Boy. That really hurts. Andre Paul says I'm drinking a Tullamore, Dew, and Jenny. Do you even know what that is, Sarah? I'm not even sure what that is.
I do not, but I think the Jenny might be. Is that ginger ale? Is that like another word for that? I don't know.
Either ginger ale or Jenny is like gin and tonic, maybe gin and tonic. I don't know. I'm not sure.
We have to get with the lingo. I'm not sure.
We gotta get on it. All right, Ryan Ritter, who's up in New York, his brother Andrew Ritter and him both have ties back to Pickle and Par up in New York. He says it was your ping pong skills that clinched the deal. I don't know if he's talking about your skills, which are very good, or my skills, which aren't so good. And maybe, I don't know. I'm not sure where he was going with that one, but hopefully he's talking about your skills there.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
And then Scott Yager says the arm videos were very, very funny. So just referencing that again, if you haven't seen those, go to YouTube and search Golden Boy Pickleball. You'll see both of those videos up. By the way, Sarah's video was actually only one part of a 3-part series. She actually has 2 other parts of that video that we haven't released yet. We're letting everybody kind of simmer on that first part. So go ahead and talk about the 3 parts. The first part was the one we just released, which was
ways to prevent the coronavirus.
And part 2?
And you want me to say it? You want me to give a spoiler alert?
I mean, let's do a spoiler alert since we're live.
Okay. So part 2 is ways to prevent getting pregnant during the coronavirus. And then part 3 is ways to prevent gaining weight during the being quarantined.
Yeah, and because there's a lot of people watching, and I think it's important to talk about things that are relevant to Sarah and her situation and how she's dealing with the coronavirus. Talk about your routines. What do you do every day? I personally am blown away by your routines, but talk about your routines and how you stay on top of being active during the quarantine and staying on top of your weight and making sure you don't let it get out of hand.
Well, I'm crazy. As you can see behind me, I just bought a stationary bicycle. So that I plan on using when it's raining and I can't go outside. But every day I have run and walked pretty much 6 miles. I try to exercise for at least an hour and a half in the morning. And then I come back and I get ready to do my schoolwork that I have to do, which is online teaching right now. And then I've actually picked up some yoga because I knew I needed to work on flexibility, and that can help preventing injuries in the future. And I've actually really enjoyed doing about 30 minutes of yoga every day, or most days. And the stationary bike will be good, but I mean, just staying active. I'm used to working all day. So from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., I'm used to moving since I teach phys ed. So it's been difficult being quarantined and not moving. So my goal is getting 15,000 steps a day, which is nothing compared to, I used to get 25,000 steps a day. And just being home and sitting and eating and drinking definitely affects the weight. So as much as I'm trying to be disciplined and exercise, there's other factors involved as well.
I think you're very hard on yourself. You are absolutely a beast, as your nickname portrays. You are very disciplined. You get up every morning. You go out and run/walk while I sleep in and do nothing of the sorts. So, but I just want people to hear like your routine, because maybe some people are looking for something that they can do to stay on top of being active and those sorts of things. And so hearing from you about doing the yoga, maybe somebody hasn't considered doing yoga yet. But yoga, from all I've heard, it's a great way to prevent injuries and to stay on top of your flexibility. And overall, I think that kind of stuff physically helps your mental game as well. I mean, right? I
It
mean,
really, oh yes, it really does. Especially just being anxious about things with the coronavirus. I noticed yoga would kind of put me in a better mindset, and calm me down, which also I feel like most people need right now, which was really nice because I hadn't really tried that before.
absolutely. All right, one of our good friends and always tuning in to any live stream, it seems like, Steve Vaza, the Vaz. And I got a quick
Hi,
story
Steve.
on the Vaz, but he says, "Aren't you two in the same apartment?" Question mark, question mark. Or are you just practicing extreme social distancing? Listen, she tries to social distance away from me as much as possible, I'm sure, during the quarantine. However, she can't really avoid me because we don't live in a 10,000 square foot house. We live in an apartment, and she lives in the apartment, and I'm just visiting currently. But basically, she can't get away from me unless she goes to run. So, yeah, we are in the same apartment. She's in a different room, and that's a great question, Steve. I think that's a legitimate question, right?
Yep, we're practicing social distancing.
I love it. Tapper says, "Steve, Scott's in the doghouse." I would disagree. I would totally disagree.
He's in the living room. I'm in the spare bedroom. I'm in the
That's
doghouse, I guess. I'm in the
she's
litter
in
box
she's
house.
in the litter box because she has a cat, so she's in the litter box, not even the doghouse.
I know.
Marva Stroman, who by the way has put out some epic videos on social media lately. Marva says impromptu is the best. I would agree with that. Thank you, Marva, for that comment. Let's see what Jim Labros. I don't know how you say it. Labrosi. This
I
is
think
one of those names.
Labros.
All right, we're gonna go with Jim Labros. I know Jim very well just through social media stuff. He's always given me a hard time about my selection of music on my videos that I put out. However, every once in a while I'll put out a 70s rock and roll video with music, and he agrees that it's fantastic. So he said, analyzing silly videos is like discovering perpetual motion. Fair enough. Fair enough. Tapper said, obviously, you talked her into being your girlfriend. Yeah, of course, dude. Of course I talked her into being my girlfriend. What else are you going to do? How else am I going to get a girlfriend? All right. He said, that's not saying much. Whatever, Tapper. Don't you have something better to do right now? All right. Jim says, she was famous before you came along. I want to explore how you two got together. I wasn't even sure you were a real person until you started hanging with Sarah. Wow, Jim, wow,
Yeah,
Jim.
Jim and I played together in December in a nice holiday tournament, and we earned gold together. So
Well,
Jim and
talk
I go
about
way
that.
back.
Talk about that. What was this? This was in December. I didn't know
Yeah,
about this.
it was in a tournament. So I'm originally from Connecticut. So I went home to see my family, which is the last time I got to see everyone. And I had taken part in a holiday tournament in Old Lyme, Connecticut. And I didn't have a mixed partner or a women's partner. So I was partnered up with two great people, and Jim was my mixed partner. And that was after playing the pretty much morning and afternoon of women's, and I earned silver for that. And then him and I, that was the first time us playing together, and we did really well. I enjoyed my time playing with Jim. He was great.
How much did Jim pay you to play with him? That's the real question.
Nothing. Yeah, he didn't have to he didn't have to give me anything.
Just kidding, Jim. Jim and his wife, Karen, are awesome, great people. He's always quick to, badger me on social media, which I love. As long as it comes from a good place, I'm all about it. So thanks, Jim, for those comments and those questions. Joan says, love both of your energy. Yeah, Sarah, talk on that. I mean, what's the energy like with us being together in the same house? It's pretty electric, huh?
Oh yeah, so electric. Can't even, that's why we can't be in the same room together, because we just might get, shocked.
She's
But we're
hot,
both
hot, hot.
But we're both just positive people, and we enjoy each other's company, and we feed off of each other's vibes. So it's just really nice.
Absolutely. Marva Stroman throws in the comment, Fireball. That's all. I think she's referring to an alcoholic adult beverage.
Yeah, I hope
Which
she's doing
is
some shots of it. That'd be pretty nice.
absolutely. I love how our viewers tonight are just yelling out, throwing out alcoholic beverages, screwball, fireball, whatever else drink you got, love it. All right. Jerry Caramba Meyer says Buffalo Trace dude. Do you know what he's talking about? I
No,
have
I do
no
not.
idea. If Jerry Caramba Meyer could just go ahead and give us some clarification on what he means by Buffalo Trace dude, that would be fantastic. All right, Michael Cheung, still tuning in, says the next time you guys play ping pong, you should live stream it. Actually, we have live streamed, I think, every time we've played ping pong.
Mhm.
And Sarah, how did those results go?
Very well for me. I dominated, and I think Scott won one game or two out of maybe 15. So he put up a good fight. He definitely doesn't let me win.
I just have to cheat to try to win. That's all. No big deal.
Well, and the next time we do ping pong, aren't we going to switch the roles?
Yeah, so this comes from a suggestion of Steve Vaza, who is also watching live. So, Steve, if you're watching, we are going to try and get creative the next time we play ping pong and go live. I will be playing as the lefty beast, Sarah Marr, and Sarah will be going in as the golden boy, a righty from the east. And I don't know where I was going with that, but she's going to play as Scott Golden. I'm going to play as Sarah, and we're going to see who comes out on top. I got a good feeling about me coming out on top there, but we'll see. All right. Jim says Sarah is the best dinker ever. Ever. So I agree.
Thanks, Jim.
She's a fantastic dinker. She's very patient, very, very controlled. She likes to control the game at her pace. So she's awesome. So, all right, let's see. Tommy Aparicio says, like to know how many hours of pickleball training is Sarah putting in per week. First of all, Tommy, thank you for the comment. However, you did spell her name incorrectly. So minus 2 points for Tommy for that. It's actually Sara for anybody that is watching, including Tommy. But we're not going to hold that against you. Sarah, go ahead and answer that question from Tommy.
Scott, you care more about my first and last name than I do, so I appreciate you at least trying to stick up for it, but I could care less.
I get fired up about it. I get fired up.
I know. I'm like, whatever. That's all I'm used to, especially Sarah with an H. So Tommy, before the quarantine, since I teach, I don't have a lot of free time, but I was playing in a ladder league on Wednesday nights for maybe 2 hours, and then I played Friday nights after work, just in like a social group. And then I try to play Saturday and Sundays. But training wise, that's something I definitely wanted to improve for 2020, but things have changed. So I don't necessarily drill. I just more get in game situations and try to work on shots there. So per week, probably 10 hours, which is a lot for someone who's working full time and isn't retired like I'd like to be.
Maybe one day if I make it big, we can both retire.
Get on it.
I love it. Johnny Storm on another, he's on the watch party. He said, why aren't you two on the same screen, just talking on the same screen? Well, Johnny, that's a simple answer to that question. I'm not even going to let Sarah answer that. The answer to that question is because I'm a professional and we do this professionally here at the Golden Boy Studios. And Sarah, under no circumstances, would be sitting just next to me. We certainly need to be on opposite ends, and she needs to be in a separate room. Correct, Sarah?
Correct. Yeah. I don't want to just be next to you.
Hell no. That's just ridiculous. Why would Johnny even say something so silly? All right. Preston Smith, who lives in Virginia, who's one of my students and good friends. And Preston says, actually, Sarah, I would like you to read this question and then answer it as well.
Okay. So how did you meet Scott, and why are you still with him? That's good.
Screw you, Preston.
Well, Preston, so Scott had mentioned this earlier, but so Scott and I met last April in Nashville at one of the tournaments, and we were just friends, and that was the first time I met him, and we kept in touch here and there. But then after I broke up with my boyfriend in September, we just kind of reconnected, and it went from there. And why am I still with him? He's just a great person to be around, and he's funny and he's caring, and he definitely just has this great vibe about him, and he's laid back like I am. He may not put it out there all the time, and people may think he's jumping off the walls, but actually during quarantine I'm the one bouncing off the walls because it's really hard for me to be inside and not moving as much, but he's definitely more laid back than people realize.
That is true. I am. And also, I would like to go on record by saying, for me, it was love at first sight. I saw that lefty hitting her soft third shot drop, and I just knew that I had to find a way to work my way into her life. So that is my answer to the question, even though he didn't ask me a question there. But I was going to answer it either way. But no, Sarah and I, we absolutely, don't we, babe? We have a lot of fun together. I think for us, it's natural. It flows. It's not hard to be with you. And because we both, even though this is a weird time right now, and we're not actually getting to play pickleball, I feel like the commonality that brought us together was that we both have a love for a sport that is just phenomenal, and that we both, I don't know about you, but I feel like I'm going to play it till I die. But I know you have just as much passion for it, right?
Oh yeah, I plan on playing pickleball, until I'm 90 wearing a helmet, but it's just nice to not play right now and see how we get along, and we're able to find other things to do and enjoy. So it's nice to know it's not just about pickleball.
Yeah, I feel like if Sarah can put up with me through quarantine for over a month, then we can probably do okay playing pickleball. So she's a saint. She's a saint. All right. So Marva Stroman says, how important, Sarah, is a good paddle? Take it away.
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm a firm believer in it's not necessarily the paddle, but the skills behind it. Since I've only played with Selkirk, I obviously am biased towards them, but I also think you have to have good hand-eye coordination and other skills to do well. It's not just the paddle, it's you, because the paddle won't be able to hit the ball if you mishit it, kind of thing. So it's more just like, what can you do to become a better player?
Very good answer. Very good. Jim, next question says, ways to prevent getting pregnant, question mark, date Scott? Do you even have an answer for that? I don't even know if there's an answer for that. Like, really?
I can't answer that appropriately, so
We should just, I don't even know why I put that up. I think just for some humor.
that's pretty funny.
Jim's a funny guy. I have to admit, he's a funny guy.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
really like Jim.
I love it. Let's see. Next comment is from Cindy Biederman. She says, hi from Canada. Do you and Sarah play together? Sarah, I'm gonna let you answer that the best way you know how.
We play together socially. Right now, we played in one tournament in January together. But since he lives in Florida and I live in Maryland, we have mixed partners that we play with on a regular. So we play together mostly for fun, but have only played one tournament seriously together.
Oh, hey, wait. Sarah, I forgot to tell you, I moved to Baltimore, Maryland recently.
Oh, where's your apartment?
I'm still working out the details, but no, I'm just kidding. I do live in Florida and she lives in Baltimore, but because of the quarantine, it's been kind of a weird deal. I'm surprised she hasn't kicked me out. I should be living in apartment 203 instead of 204, but we haven't met them yet officially. So
I'm sure they don't like us because of all the noise we make with our karaoke and ping pong and pickleball and just us laughing. I'm pretty sure we keep people annoyed.
for sure we do, for sure. All right, Tommy says, you guys rock. Thanks for answering my question. So no problem, Tommy. Anytime. Love that you're tuning in. All right, Jim, again, Jim with a question. Sarah said she doesn't drill much, but having played with her, I saw tremendous discipline, consistency, and skill with her dinking. Does she develop those skills while playing? Sarah, answer that question.
I think I think it has to do with that I've just been athletic my whole life, and since I'm a phys ed teacher, I think I just naturally have those certain skills that some people need extra fine tuning with. And I take it for granted that I can be at the level that I'm at without practicing as much as I'd like to. Because if I did practice more, I just try to imagine how much better I could be. So I've even thought of drilling with my students and just teaching them pickleball throughout the whole school year. And then I think that would really up my game and make some future juniors pickleball stars as well. So that's something that's crossed my mind.
I love it. That's a great answer. How much does it help dating somebody that loves pickleball as much as you and that loves to drill and hit and play, even skinny singles and that kind of stuff? How much does that play into your? I guess maybe this is like my own questions about us being together, but like, does that affect your ability to want to be with somebody long term, knowing that they love the sport as much as you do?
Yeah, I knew my next relationship would have to be with someone who liked pickleball or played pickleball because of how much time I spent playing pickleball, especially every weekend I seem to be doing a tournament somewhere. And that does take a toll on a relationship that the other person isn't invested in the sport and maybe doesn't understand what you're doing or what your goals are. So it's really nice that you love pickleball and play as much as I do, if not more, just because then you don't feel bad and your significant other will play with you and practice with you and just knows the value of what you're doing. And it's just really nice to have that.
Yeah, and talk about a little bit on the subject of like how we as a couple living in Florida, me living in Florida, you living in Baltimore, how pickleball brings us together in a way where we can coordinate our tournament schedules and meet up in certain places across the country to not only see each other but to play pickleball. How cool is that?
It's awesome because, like you said, we can make sure that certain tournaments that we sign up for, and not only do we get to play pickleball, but we get to see each other. And it's just kind of killing two birds with one stone. And it just makes it really enjoyable. And you're not leaving your significant other at home to go do the tournament. You're actually going to meet up with them. And it's just really nice.
Yeah, and how did I end up in New York at the New York Open recently, the last tournament that I played? How did that go down? Because I didn't have that on my schedule, actually.
Well, it was Valentine's Day weekend. So, no, I don't even care about that. But you flew up and we went to play in that awesome tournament. And you and Sari Lee were earned gold, and Josh and I got silver. But it's funny because even playing against you, I don't even think of you as my boyfriend on the other side. I actually get fired up to want to beat you because you're my opponent in the moment. And it just, I don't know, there's something about having you on that other side that it doesn't affect me in the sense of, oh, I don't want to go too hard on him. I hope we don't beat him too much. I'm thinking the complete opposite. Like, I want to destroy you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm the same way. Like you know what? I even remember actually I think hitting you with the ball one time and I apologized and you were just like, "Don't apologize. Like I'm going to try to hit you too." Like so obviously the relationship stuff gets put aside when you're competing. And I think that's just honestly I think that's in our nature when we're competing, we don't care if it's your father, mother, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife on the other side of the net. It's a competition, and you're there to win. And I personally would be upset with you and mad at you if you took it easy and let me win, and vice versa, right? I mean, wouldn't you feel the same way?
Oh yeah, I know that even though I haven't beat you yet, I'm going to. So it's just a matter of when. So
Well, for the record, you've beat me in rec games, but not officially in a tournament yet.
yeah, I
So,
know that doesn't. It's not the same.
but
It'll
it's
happen
coming.
in the tournament. Yeah, it's
It's
coming.
it's coming. It's coming for sure. All right. So Barbara Mateus, I think that's how you say it. Matassi, I don't know. These last names are tough, but Barbara says, "Are you registered for any future pickleball tournaments, and who will you be pairing with? Do you have any consistent partners for tournaments?" That's in regards to you, Sarah.
Yes, I played with Barbara in the same tournament with Jim for the December holiday tournament that I did in Connecticut. So her and I earned silver, and we did really well together for never playing together before. So hi, Barbara. But so yes, for future tournaments, whenever that happens, I have a consistent male mixed partner, Joshua Saylor. But for women's, I don't have a consistent partner right now. But I am always looking for one. So we'll see how that goes. But
Shameless plug. If you're a 5.0 lady out there and you're looking for a partner, Sarah Marr, she's the one. All right, so let's see. Marva Stroman says there's got to be a way to combine pickleball and karaoke. Atta girl, Marva. Way to be thinking on your A game there. I think
I like
we
Marva.
certainly could figure out a way to combine pickleball and karaoke. We just have to put our thinking caps on. I think that could happen for sure. Michael Chang says, do you like playing indoors or outdoors better? Go ahead, Sarah.
Since the weather is not as great as it is in Florida, I prefer playing indoors for sure rather than outdoors. Because when Scott and I played in Florida just recently in January, man, the wind was so bad, and I wasn't used to playing in those types of extreme conditions. So I prefer indoors over outdoors, at least right now.
Awesome. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Michael Chang says, what is your favorite song to sing in karaoke? He's a man after your own
Whew,
heart. Hey,
I
listen,
know.
listen, Michael, she's taken, okay, buddy? All right. She's not available on the market.
I know. This is a question I usually ask people. So I like this, Michael. All right. So my favorite song that I always sing is Before He Cheats by Carrie Underwood. I love that song. And I like pretty much all genres of music, but Carrie Underwood is a really good pop country singer. So I enjoy her.
Very cool. Very cool. Do you feel like Scott Golden has any karaoke skills to speak of?
Oh, yes. It takes a lot to get up and sing karaoke in front of people. So the fact that people can do that and you did that is awesome. And you're just a born entertainer. So you have that skill right there. You don't have to be a good singer, and you're actually really good.
I think my next outing in karaoke is going to be lip syncing, just kind of going along with the words because I am an entertainer, but I'm definitely not a great singer. But all right, Michael Chang also says the next time you guys are in Wichita, Kansas, we should go to Chicken and Pickle and play some ping pong and pickleball. Sarah, is the Chicken and Pickle places, are those on your bucket list for pickleball to go visit?
Yes. And you know this because I said, have you ever played at Chicken and Pickle? And you said yes. Because that was one of the places that I wanted to go with you when we first started dating.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we're still going to make a trip there for sure. That's a great place. So, all right. Cindy Biederman says, would you and Scott ever be mixed doubles partners? I think she tuned in a little late.
Mhm.
We did. Let me bring me back up here. Cindy, that's a great question. Sarah and I did play in January, I think, at Simone's tournament, the Florida Grand Slam. We played pro mixed doubles. We technically went 1-2, but on paper we went 2-2 because we had a forfeit win. But We actually got to play against some of the biggest names in the sport. We had a great time. I would say we learned a lot versus winning, right? Like you either win or you learn. And we learned, we grew, and I think we got better from those experiences. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, for sure. It was awesome playing against Kyle Yates and Lee Waters, and Sarah Ansbury and her partner Andre. Um, I didn't have high hopes. I knew we wouldn't win gold, but I definitely knew we could put up a fight and see how we could do. And I was really proud of us.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed battling next to you. There's something very special about being with somebody and then being able to compete on the court either with or against them in pickleball. I don't know that if we were together and we played tennis, like I don't know all the dynamics and how that would work, but I just know pickleball is very special in and of itself, and I think pickleball brought us together, and I'm personally, I'm very thankful for that, right? I'm very thankful for a sport that we both loved individually, separate from each other, and then through traveling and competing on our own, we were able to connect and have a commonality with pickleball that we may or may not have had outside of that. Clearly, we have a lot of fun regardless, but I think having pickleball is just it's a great thing. All right. So next question. This is actually from Philip James. This is not on this live stream. This is on a watch party that I started. And Philip James said, Sarah, I love you from afar. I've been watching you play table tennis with the Golden Tornado. It's obviously you know how to dominate. It's obvious you know how to dominate. Any plans to bring him along on how to have table tennis game in quotation marks? Otherwise, it's just nice to see you hand it to him. Either way, love you, Scott. So basically, I think what he's saying is like, do you have plans to help me get better in some ping pong?
Well, we practiced not yesterday, but wasn't it the day before? We realized we should just be doing this in general to help our pickleball game since we can't really play pickleball inside for too long. Like table tennis is definitely easier, but yeah, I think the more we play, it'll help not only your table tennis skills, but pickleball for both of us for sure.
Well, I just figured out that I still take the pickleball game to the ping pong table. So I basically hit everything too long. Everything goes long or wide or whatever. So, I haven't developed the ping pong skill set just yet, but I'm a quick learner and I will adapt to that game and I will overcome. I'm like a
You
Marine.
will,
I'm like a
especially
Marine.
when, yeah, especially when you are me in the next time. You should win.
That's right. All right, Gene Click says we have a chicken and pickle being built in Oklahoma City right now. Actually, there's one being built in Oklahoma City, and there's another one actually, Sarah, being built in San Antonio, Texas. So they are on the move. Just a quick little bit about chicken and pickle. If you have never been to a chicken and pickle complex facility, you should visit the chicken and pickle anytime you're in the Midwest, either in Wichita or just 3 hours east in the original location, which I can't think of right now. And then San Antonio and OKC. I promise you, you won't be disappointed. They are not a franchise right now. They are a family-owned business that chooses to keep everything very tight-knit. They're very specific about where they want to build these facilities and how they want them to be run. And so they're very, very on top of that. And they run a great business, a great facility. So if you have a chance to do that, definitely do that. That's a shameless plug for Chicken and Pickles since I'm not getting paid to promote them there, obviously. But okay. Cindy says, good answer, Scott. Sorry I was late on joining the conversation, but we'll say just enjoy your life together and playing this game for fun. Yeah, absolutely. I think we'll always play it for fun. But we're both in our mid 30s, right, Sarah? And like we still love to compete. Like that gets my blood pressure going big time.
Yeah, I'm really competitive, so I like to compete as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's one of the things I love about you the most is that you're super competitive. All right, Marva asked the question to Sarah: worst pickleball injury. Go ahead.
Ooh, I have had no pickleball injuries while playing. However, I have had plantar fasciitis while playing pickleball, like over the 2.5 years. So I've been dealing with that. I've worn the boot to bed and, used the lacrosse ball to run my foot over it. So that was probably the worst injury from just playing pickleball in general. But um, probably the worst injury was when I was playing just like a rec game and someone drive the ball at me and my paddle wasn't straight. It was kind of cocked towards me. So the ball hit my paddle and hit me in the eye, but kind of more in the eyelid area. So my eyeball was fine. And it was strange because it took about 3 days for a bruise to form. It didn't initially happen, which normally when I get hit with a pickleball, a bruise is pretty instant, but that bruise didn't show up for at least 3 days. And then I had a nice, eyeshadow going on. But thankfully it didn't affect my eyes. But I wear glasses all the time now when I play, just to prevent that. Because that's one less thing I have to worry about is something hitting my eye.
Very good. Okay, next question comes from me, and it's, who is your favorite pro pickleball player to watch?
That's a good one. I love watching all of them, but I guess right now I really like watching Lee Waters and her daughter Anna Lee, just because they're a mother-daughter duo and they're both phenomenal. And since I teach elementary phys ed, it's just really nice to show my students that, a young athlete is doing so well, and it's just something to motivate them.
Very cool. Okay, you finished talking before I finished my question writing it, but what is the next tournament that you plan to play in after the coronavirus pandemic kind of settles down? Do you have any plans to sign up for a tournament? And if so, which one?
Well, that's a hard one right now because a lot of the tournaments that we were going to play in or go to have been rescheduled. So I think the Atlanta one, the Atlanta Open, is rescheduled for September. But also, I was going to play in the Pittsburgh tournament, and that one was rescheduled from June to the end of August. So I guess just depending on when we can play again. I hope to play in a tournament at the end of August, especially before school starts. I was really looking forward to playing in summer tournaments, but we'll see if that happens.
Very cool. Okay, so switching gears, talking a little bit about your actual career, not your pickleball career. What has it been like kind of feeling out this process of the pandemic and how the things have just rapidly been changing? I know in Baltimore, the governor is in charge of all the governors in the United States, and they have been doing weekly updates, and they just, I think, pushed back another whole week or 2 weeks, right, until May 15th or something. So go ahead and talk about
Yeah.
that and what that's been like to kind of have to deal with that as a school teacher.
Yeah, so our last day of actual physical school was March 15th, I think it was. And they had originally said, oh, we'd be back to school the end of April. So then today they just announced that we won't go back till at least May 15th. And I know some states have already canceled school for the whole rest of the school year. So I think that our county or state is just trying to see if maybe seniors can get their graduation and proms and all of that in. But if not, then they'll probably cancel and push it back even further. But it's just been weird, as a teacher, you take for granted. And I've been teaching for 11 years and I taught high school for 6. And now I've been teaching elementary phys ed for 5 years. And as a teacher, you make jokes like, oh, I hope there's a snow day. I just need a break. And then when you get a month break and you can't even go anywhere, you just take for granted, like, well, maybe school wasn't so bad. And then online learning, we're all trying to learn how to do that and just seeing, the kids that I've checked in with. And it's just really hard to just be on a device and try to connect with the kids and tell them that you miss them and not even be able to high five them or hug them. And it just, once we do get back to school, whether that's in the fall or at the end of the school year, I just know people are going to definitely be more just conscious and probably treat each other better than they were.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. Cindy Biederman has another comment/question. She says, glad to hear you wear eye protection, as most of us oldies wear safety glasses. But it is interesting when watching the pros play, most don't wear eye protection, safety glasses, etc. Just wonder why that is. And they are so good, they can deflect balls to the eye, or their balls are not directed there. Many of us older players wonder why they don't wear safety glasses. So yeah, touch on that. I mean, what's the reason that you think that most pros don't wear safety glasses?
I mean, I don't know their reasons. I know that a lot of them wear hats and visors. So again, that does protect the eyes, but not as well as safety glasses. I just know, even with the pros or even 5-0, 4-5, you're not necessarily going to aim for the face, but as I know, mistakes happen. So even if I was playing against the best Simone, like she could hit it and it could be my fault. Like I said, like I could have the paddle tilted and it ricochet off my paddle and hurt me. So for me, it's just, I don't want to worry about something else while playing, and my eyesight is really important to me. So I just wear the safety glasses for that reason. And I've never been a big hat person or visor person unless playing outside. So then I'll wear a visor, but it just, to me, it's not even worth the chance. And the safety glasses aren't bad. They don't fog up. They don't affect my play. So there's no reason for me to not wear them.
Have you ever taken one off the face with your glasses and thought, wow, I'm glad I had those, as protection?
Mm-hmm. Yes, just one time. I don't think it was a tournament. I think it was just kind of open play and rec play. But yes, it hit me right in the eye, and I thought, well, good thing I have this on, especially after that one and only time that it hit my like upper eyelid. So,
Yeah, I've been hit in the nose before. It does not feel good. Okay. Michael says, Sarah, what is your favorite tournament to play at? Go ahead.
I mean, I was really excited to play at the US Open this year, but that was canceled. I've played in a lot of smaller tournaments. So I've never played in a bigger tournament more than once so far, since I've only been playing about 2.5 years. So right now it would have to be this tournament that's put on in Dover, Delaware. They do a spring and winter tournaments, and the tournament directors are amazing. And it's a small tournament, but it's indoors. And that's probably the one tournament I've done numerous times throughout my 2.5 years. So all the
Very
rest
cool.
I've only done one time each.
Have you ever played at Nationals, the Indian Wells Tennis Garden out in Palm Springs, California? Do you have plans to go out there this November for the big tournament?
It's still hard to say because my principal, since I'm a teacher, it's hard to take off a week of school when you have the summer off. So my principal was going to let me take off this whole week coming up for the US Open, which I was so gracious for. So since that's rolling over to next year, I know if I can't do 2 weeks. So it's either Nationals or the US Open. So since I already have the US Open, fulfilled, I feel like it'd be stupid for me to try to get into nationals and not get in. So I want to play in the US Open next year, and then hopefully the following year I can do the nationals.
Well, you just tell your principal that you're dating the golden boy, and that if I need to speak with your principal, then I will. Maybe I'm just
Good
kidding.
luck.
Yeah, good luck. No, I'm just kidding. Well, I clearly live in Florida now, so I think it makes more sense for you to come south to the Florida area for the U.S. Open. But all right, so I have finished my drink, my adult beverage. Have you finished your adult beverage?
I did, but I also came prepared with other drinks.
Boom, the Truly. Show of hands, anybody that likes Trulies? Oh, boom, right here. Love a good Truly. No, so anything else that you want to talk about? I know these are kind of impromptu, so I love all the questions and the comments from everybody. But I mean, what's it been like to rise to stardom and fame in the last week or so? I mean, what does that feel like?
I wouldn't say I'm famous at all. I don't see what you see. I also am not on Facebook as much, so I really don't. I wouldn't even know that it was a big deal if it weren't for you.
Do you ever get annoyed with how much I'm on social media?
Oh yes, and you know that.
Yes. Well, I try to limit my time on social media, but it's tough. It's tough. I enjoy being on there. I'm one that I like to respond very quickly to people. And I think that is oddly enough kind of a problem that I have. I like to be very responsive to people. I feel like I'm letting somebody down if I don't respond to their comment because they took the time to watch my video or my post and say something kind or maybe not so kind. But I feel like that's part of why I'm good at what I do because I'm very, very interactive. And um, I know it's not easy for somebody that's dating me uh, to always be patient, but thank you for being that way. Um, so anyway, Kelly Walsh said, "What's Golden Boy's favorite White Claw flavor?" Oh, okay. So we drink Trulies up in this house. So I know down in Florida, the big thing is White Claw. I will say I'm pretty much a big fan of any White Claw flavor and any Truly flavor. I honestly have not had one yet that didn't taste good. They all are like a carbonated alcoholic beverage with a little bit of splash of something, usually some type of fruit or something like that. Now, if it was vegetables, I'm out. I'm out. No way, Jose. But because it's a fruit, I'm all in. Oh, speaking of that, Sarah, what would you think about if we did rapid fire questions real quick? And I've got them pulled up. So how would you feel about answering some rapid fire questions?
Bring it on.
All right, let's go. All right, here we go. First question. Favorite color?
Purple.
I couldn't have imagined. Favorite food?
Oh, pizza. But since I can't eat that, it's fish.
Pizza's a good answer. Favorite restaurant?
Ooh, Panera Bread.
I love it. How old are you?
33.
Is that pickleball years or actual years?
I I think it's pickleball years.
Okay, so you're technically 32 still?
Well, no, it said 33, but now I'm 33. So
Oh,
I
you're
don't think it,
actually 33. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I didn't even know. Honestly, I thought you were still 32. All right.
Good answer.
Favorite shot in pickleball?
Ooh.
Your favorite shot?
Hmm. Definitely the cross court dink.
Really? Okay. Your worst shot in pickleball?
Probably a drive.
Okay. Where do you live? You don't have to give your actual address, but just the general area.
I live just north of Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay. And some of these you've already answered, but just for people just tuning in, what is your profession in real life in quotation marks?
I am an elementary physical education teacher.
And how long have you been doing that?
5 years, but 11 years total. I taught high school for a while.
Perfect. All right. How would you describe your personality in one word?
Patient.
I like it. How would you describe your pickleball game in one word?
Patient.
Awesome. Okay. These are questions that are not one word, but these are not necessarily rapid fire. But what do you look for in a pickleball partner?
Someone who makes you feel relaxed while you're playing, because I know I get in my head enough, and I'm trying to fight my own thoughts. So it's nice to have a partner that is supportive and makes you feel relaxed and calm. And I also enjoy laughing while playing, because that again helps you stay relaxed instead of tense.
Very cool. When we played together, when I was trying to say stuff to you, it felt like you were just kind of tuning me out. Is that something you do?
Yeah, it's called being focused.
I love it. All right. Did you ever suspect that a sport called pickleball would impact your life in the way that it has?
No, and I've played a lot of sports growing up, and I just, since pickleball is something that, newly fresh to me, 5 years, I had no idea about it and that it even existed. So it's just really nice to find something that I love to do, and especially since I teach my students to find something that they want to do to stay active. They see how much I love pickleball and they're excited for me, which is even better because I don't have to make up what I'm doing to stay active just to teach them. They can truly see it.
Very cool. Do you have any siblings, and does your family play? Like, do you have a mom and dad that play, or a sister that plays, or a brother that plays?
So the first part, I have an older sibling, Heather Mar. She is my best friend and she's 35. And we have two awesome parents who live out in Nevada. And that's how I found out about pickleball. So I actually get my athletic ability all thanks to mom and dad of Papa and Mama Mar. So they're definitely the athletic genes that I got. So they still play and they're almost 70, and my dad is super athletic and super competitive. I'm lucky if I can beat him in sports still. And my sister and or all four of us played this past summer, and my sister's now into pickleball, but she works a lot, and so she isn't able to play as much as we do. But it's nice to play in the summertime and have a group of four.
Very cool. What percentage of your time each week is taken up with pickleball or pickleball related things? If you could put a percentage on it.
On a normal lifetime, it would probably be just like, what if I was teaching still full time, it would probably be just, I think, 25% of pickleball. But now I'd say it's 75% just because I have more time. But yeah, I wasn't able to to play as much pickleball as I'd like to during the week and stuff, but it's okay.
Very cool. All right. What is your biggest or most significant accomplishment to date in regards to pickleball? And there's no right answer to this, right? You don't have to win a gold medal at the highest, thing. What would you consider your biggest accomplishment in pickleball?
Hmm. That's a good one. I think just
Playing
playing
with
against the
me.
pros. Yeah, well, not with you, but playing against the pros in January. Like, I just never thought that that would be possible or even an option. And it was just awesome to play against Kyle Yates and Lee Waters and play with you. It was really fun. So I enjoyed that.
Very cool. And what would you consider your biggest accomplishment in life outside of even pickleball? Just something that you've accomplished in your life that you're very, very proud of.
Oh man, I don't know. I think just how people perceive me. There's no one moment, but I think just being a caring person and actually caring about people no matter where I am, whether it's teaching or being at pickleball tournaments. I think just the vibe I give people. I'm proud of how my parents raised me and how I'm I'm just I'm just nice. I don't know how to describe that, and it's not fake, and it's just who I am. And I love everyone that I meet, and I'm just very open to what other people say. So I think that's an accomplishment because most people are not like that.
I would agree with that. All right. What sport? What sports did you play growing up, and which one of those sports did you enjoy the most as you were a kid playing?
For high school, I focused on volleyball, basketball, and tennis. But I never played one sport the majority of the time, which was nice. And then before high school, I played soccer, I swam, I danced for 10 years. So I did tap and ballet. Um, so my parents were really good at showing me numerous sports to kind of find what I liked. Um, but my favorite was tennis. Yeah. And it was awesome because when I'd play tennis, I'd play against these girls who played year round and were really good, and they, practiced all the time. And I only practiced during tennis season. And when I'd beat them because I had a stronger mental game than them, it would destroy them. And it was just like a great feeling. And I liked playing tennis because I played doubles and singles. But when I played singles, it was just nice being the only one on the court and you only had yourself to blame. So it just was nice to have that on just you.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Speaking of that, do you prefer playing singles in pickleball or doubles? And what are the benefits and advantages of both? Go ahead and talk about that and from your perspective.
I definitely love playing doubles more than singles for pickleball just because of the social part of it and having someone to laugh and be with. But singles, I enjoy. I call it torturous, but it's a love-hate relationship, and I love playing singles. But as you're playing, you feel it and you're thinking, why am I doing this? But it's only going to make you better in doubles. So that's why I enjoy playing singles so much. Um, Plus it works on different shots as well. So um, both definitely help your game, but I prefer doubles because being out there by yourself, I get in my head a little too much.
Yeah, I was gonna say when we play singles, who's come out on top during those epic matches?
You have for now.
I love it. Singles is brutal. It is absolutely brutal. But we had fun when we first got quarantined together. We played several times early before everything kind of got crazy, and we were having some epic singles battles, and it was just good for the soul, just running around hitting the pickleball. So unfortunately, neither of us have hit a pickleball in over a month, which sucks.
Yep.
But
It's been
but
hard.
it has been hard. But soon enough, it'll get back to normal, I'm sure. Um, but yeah, so I think you've done a phenomenal job. You're a natural at this. I don't even know. You're very good at interviews,
Oh,
and
thank you.
I've enjoyed personally getting to know you a little better through the interview process. A couple of the questions I asked were just for my own personal benefit, so I could learn a little bit about you. Um, no, I'm just kidding. I mean, it's true. I did learn, but that wasn't my motive there. But no, I think it's good for the people of pickleball to get to know Sara because Sara is, guys, she's a phenomenal player. She's always trying to learn and grow and get better. If you ever get a chance to play against her, she's going to give you 110%, and you're going to see her best. And I promise you, she's not going to let you win. She will win at all costs, as long as it's ethical and above board. But also, she's a great person. She's somebody who is always complimentary of the other team. I don't know how many times I hit a shot, even in like just pickup games against her, and she would just say like "good shot," like she would grit her teeth and under her breath say it, but I would still hear it, and that's what counts. But no, she really is a very, very just genuine, kind, down to earth person. That's what I love the most about her, and I'm glad that she has allowed me to be part of her life for the last, whatever, since January, February, March, April. So basically, like the last 4 months, essentially, we've been a part of each other's lives, and it's only gotten better. Hopefully, at least from my perspective. I don't know what. Do you agree?
Of course.
I just didn't want to assume anything. You know what I mean? But
Be like,
um,
no.
But no, I mean, it's good. It's like this is stuff that I would be doing. So I would be doing interviews with pickleball players regardless of if you and I were together or not. But I think it's so cool that I can actually interview you, and not just because we're dating, but because you're a phenomenal player. You're a 5.0 in the sport, and you've worked hard in the last 2.5 years to gain some credibility in the sport. So if you haven't heard of Sara, you definitely will in the future, from this point forward. Also, she's an awesome uh, video choreographer. I don't know how you say it, but she's really good at improv videos, as you can see on social media. So, all right, we're going to wrap this bad boy up. And the only last comment is from Marva Stroman. She says, "Yay, Sara, nice is an exceptional quality." And I would agree.
Thank you, Marva.
So, anything else you want to say, Sara, before we wrap up the interview?
Nope. Just keep washing your hands and stay safe, everyone, because we'll get through this. I know it's difficult for everyone to not be playing pickleball, but soon enough, I think things will be back to normal.
And also, what are your plans after you get off the interview? What are you planning on doing? Okay, we'll
What
figure
kind of
that out.
question is that?
I don't know. We'll figure that out later. All right. Thanks for joining, Sara Marr. It's been a pleasure, and I will see you in just a few minutes.
Yep. Bye, everyone.
All right, guys, that was Sara Marr. She is fantastic, not just because she's my girlfriend, but because she's an awesome person. She's an awesome teacher. She excels at everything she does, and I am really proud of her. I've talked her into doing a lot of funny stuff over the last few weeks, and she has been absolutely on board, which is even more of a reason why I love hanging out with her. And also, I feel like because of these weird circumstances of the coronavirus and the pandemic, the fact that, and her and I have talked about this, but the fact that we can get along, every single day from like 0 to 60, basically. We went from seeing each other once a month, maybe, to all of a sudden I'm up here quarantining with her, and it's fun. It's fun. It's interesting. I think if you can make that work, you can pretty much make anything work. And I, for one, am super excited about teaming up with her in the future, not only in life, but also on the pickleball court, or just beating her on the pickleball court, that too. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna sign off. This was totally random and impromptu on a Saturday night. Sara and I were both part of a game show, a virtual game show. It's called What's the Call? You'll probably see a video come out this next week of that. And Sara took bronze in that out of, I think, 8 people. She took 3rd place. She was in the championship rounds. She made it to the championship rounds, and she was like one or two questions short, maybe one question short of taking the silver. Actually, never mind. That's not true. She tied for silver, and then they did a bonus like tiebreaker question, and Sara actually did not get it correct. So I think she just had a brain fart. But anyway, but she took bronze in that. So you can just call her the bronze girl. And anyway, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Thank you from around the world, the people that are watching, the people that have always been supporters of me and what I try to do for the pickleball community. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I always love bringing pickleball content and just live stream interviews to you guys. If it wasn't for y'all, I would not be doing this stuff. I promise you. I don't just do this stuff to hear myself talk, even though I do love to talk, and that's one of my natural talents. It's not why I do it. The reason is because of you guys. So again, always, always, always stay safe, be healthy, take care of yourselves. Like Sara said, we're going to see you guys out on the pickleball court soon. So take care. And I'm out.